People always say a single moment can change your life. One choice, one word, one mistake. I never believed it. Life had felt safe, predictable, like a loop I could at least understand. Until last night. Last night split my life into before and after. Before, I thought I knew who I was. After, I didn't even know my own name. Started small. Couldn't sleep. I wandered my room, scrolling through old messages, listening to the quiet hum of the house. My parents were downstairs, talking in hushed tones. Nothing unusual, or so I thought. Then, at exactly 12:17 a.m., a sharp crash echoed from the living room. Glass shattered. Silence. Then my mother's urgent whisper. "Keep your voice down, Jordan's upstairs." Curiosity overpowered caution. I crept to the stairs, gripping the railing. Cold fear coiled in my chest. Then I heard a man's voice. Deep, controlled, cold. "I warned you this day would come." My mother pleaded, voice trembling. "Please, not like this." My father's voice followed, tight, angry, but trembling. "We agreed. 18 years. No contact." The man scoffed. "And you thought you could hide forever?" My pulse hammered. Who was he? Why were my parents speaking like he held everything over them? "Jordan doesn't know. He can't know. We made sure," my mother said. "You didn't make sure. You made a mistake. Last week that mistake resurfaced," the man replied. My stomach dropped. What mistake? Then he said it. He wasn't supposed to find the voicemail. My blood ran cold. Voicemail? My old phone? My number? My father hissed. "We deleted everything. Every file. Every trace. Except the one that was forwarded to his old number automatically," the man said sharply. I realized it then. The old voicemail inbox, forgotten when I switched phones 2 months ago, held a message I wasn't meant to hear. My fingers trembled as I retrieved the phone. One unheard message, timestamped 7 days ago at 11:04 p.m. The voice was hurried, desperate, trembling. "Jordan, this is Agent Reed. If this reaches you, it wasn't supposed to. You need to—" A crash interrupted him, muffled shouting, then a whisper. "Don't trust them. Not your parents." And silence. I stared at the phone. Agent, not my parents. Something told me this wasn't a mistake. I needed answers. I crept down the hallway. Shadows twisted across the walls. A vent panel caught my eye. It wasn't secured. Inside, an envelope, dusty and hidden, my name on it but not Jordan. Jude. The name froze me. Inside were documents. A birth certificate, my mother's maiden name, but a first name I didn't know, Jude Waters. A stamped form, witness protection, status, active. A faded photograph of a baby me held by a woman I didn't recognize. A note signed Agent Reed. "If this reaches you, the past has caught up." The floor vanished beneath me. Everything I believed. My name, my identity, my memories. Might be a lie. I shoved the documents back just as footsteps approached. My parents entered, tense. "Did you hear anything?" my mother asked. "No," my father said, eyes betraying doubt. And one thought thundered in my mind. If my name isn't Jordan, who am I really? Morning came too fast. I hadn't slept. My alarm buzzed at 7, but I ignored it. My mind was fixed on the vent, the envelope, the name Jude. Downstairs, my mom made breakfast. Dad scrolled his phone, tense. I tried to act normal, but I felt their watchful eyes. A notification flashed on my dad's phone, half a second. A name, Reed. Agent Reed. My chest tightened. Questions flooded my mind faster than answers. "I'm going for a walk," I said, forcing calm. Dad didn't ask more, but I felt his eyes burning into my back. Outside, adrenaline surged. Every shadow seemed alive. I sat on a park bench, heart hammering, mind spinning. Why did my dad have Agent Reed's number? Unless they weren't protecting themselves. They were protecting me. Footsteps on gravel. Slow, deliberate. No one in sight. They stopped. My instincts screamed. My phone vibrated. One new voicemail. The distorted voice whispered, "Stop looking." No name. No explanation. Just a warning. I looked up. A figure moved across the street, then disappeared. The threat was real. Back at home, my parents didn't greet me. Mom hung up the phone quickly. Dad's jaw clenched. "We need to talk," he said. I followed them to the living room, every step heavier than the last. Dad spoke first. "There's something we should have told you a long time ago." Mom's hands trembled. "We wanted you to have a normal life, Safe. We didn't want your childhood to be fear. Safe from what? I asked. Dad and Mom exchanged glances. From your past, Dad said. You weren't born Jordan Hale. You were born Jude Waters. Shock froze me. Mom explained the photo, the birth mother, the danger they shielded me from. Dad described my biological father, dangerous, manipulative, obsessed with control. Every revelation twisted my stomach. My identity, my memories, everything I believed, broken. A sharp knock at the door. Mom froze. Dad whispered urgently, "Don't move." 3 knocks. Heavier. The man outside wasn't a stranger. Dad blocked the door. "You're not welcome here." The man laughed quietly. "You think a new name changes who he is? What he is?" Mom pulled me away. "Go out the back door. Get to the shed. Don't make a sound." We moved quickly. But before we reached the backyard, I realized the back door was unlocked. "He's been here," Mom whispered. "Go!" I ran. Cold morning air burned my lungs. Leaves crunched under my feet. 20 yards felt like miles. The shed smelled of dust, oil, and old memories. Inside, Mom grabbed a key from under a toolbox and opened a metal cabinet. Inside, black binders, sealed envelopes, a small metal case. "This is from your birth mother," she said, shaking. I unlatched the case. Letters, a USB drive, a folded photograph. The woman from the picture held a toddler, older me, smiling. On the back, "Jude, I hope you remember me." I held the photograph, tracing her face. Recognition flickered somewhere deep inside me. Memories teasing the edge of my mind. My parents' eyes followed every movement. "You need to see everything," Dad said quietly. "You need to understand why we hid you." I nodded, swallowing hard. I didn't know if I was ready, but I couldn't turn back now. Mom handed me the first letter. Elegant handwriting, familiar in some strange way. Carefully, I unfolded the paper. "Jude, if you are reading this, the world we tried to hide you from has found you again. I could never tell you the whole story while keeping you safe. You are strong, smarter than you realize. Trust your instincts, and know that every step we took was to protect you." Tears pricked my eyes. This woman, my birth mother, had loved me enough to let strangers raise me, erase my memory, bury me in a new identity. I picked up the photograph again. Recognition stirred. A faint voice, a scent of lavender, a warm hand brushing my hair. "I remember something," I whispered. Mom nodded, voice cracking. "You saw something traumatic. Your mind blocked it. You were only 3, but it was enough to make anyone remember in fragments." I swallowed, trying to calm the storm inside me. I opened the USB drive, hands shaking. Dad handed me his laptop and I inserted it. A folder appeared. Videos. Hundreds of them. Hidden moments of my early life. First steps, first words. Faces I didn't know but gradually began to recognize. Pieces of a childhood I thought I'd lived differently. Then I saw her again, my birth mother, holding me as a baby. She whispered to the camera, "If anyone comes for you, Jude, run to the shed. Trust your parents. Trust those who love you. One day you will know the truth." It all clicked, the shed, the metal case, the letters. Every warning, every precaution made sense. A shadow crossed the window. Dad's eyes narrowed. "He's here," he whispered. My chest thumped wildly. My parents moved silently, guiding me toward the back door. "We're not letting him take you," Mom said, trembling but fierce. Outside, my biological father approached, calm and determined. The man who had haunted every corner of my life I didn't remember. I wanted to run, hide, but something inside me, Jude, Jordan, the person I was becoming, stood firm. Dad stepped forward, blocking the path. "You're not taking him." The man smiled coldly. "I don't need to take him. He's already mine in ways you don't understand." I realized he didn't know me. He knew a scared child, a puppet he thought he controlled. Not the person I had grown into. Mom motioned toward the case. I pressed a button on a small device inside. A sharp beep. The figure staggered, caught off guard. "Run," Dad whispered, and I did. We moved through a hidden path in the backyard. Adrenaline surging. For the first time, I felt control. Not running blindly from shadows, but moving toward truth. We reached a safe house, long prepared by my parents. Breathless, shaking, alive. Mom hugged me tightly. "You're safe now," she whispered. Dad added, "No one can touch you. Not him. Not anyone. You have a choice, Jude. Keep hiding, or step into your life fully, without fear. I looked at the letters, the USB drive, the photographs, then at my parents. I made my choice. Tell me everything, I said. I need to know who I am and what they were trying to hide from me. For hours, they explained. Witness protection, my birth father's crimes, my birth mother's sacrifice. The careful web of lies protecting me for years. Every secret felt like another piece of the puzzle, painful but necessary. As the sun rose, clarity replaced confusion. Fear still lingered, but now I had understanding, identity, and strength. But revelations didn't stop there. Dad pulled out one more envelope, labeled only with my birth name, Jude Waters. Inside, legal papers, confidential files, a small photo of a man I instantly recognized. The one who had knocked on our door. My biological father. Dangerous. Unpredictable. Obsessed with control. Each file detailed schemes, threats, and a web of influence that made me shiver. This is why we hid you, Dad said quietly. He couldn't control you as Jordan Hale. But as Jude Waters, he tried. He wanted leverage over you. Every move we made was to protect you from him. My chest tightened. And Agent Reed? I asked. Was he supposed to guide me? Mom nodded. He tried. He tried to ensure your safety. But even he couldn't always be in the right place at the right time. That voicemail, it wasn't just a message. It was a warning. You were meant to be careful, to trust no one blindly. Then, another sound. A faint knock at the safe house door. My stomach plummeted. Dad motioned me to the corner. Stay calm. Don't reveal yourself. We need to assess. Mom moved silently to the door. Peeking through the peephole, her face paled. It's him, she whispered. My heart froze. My biological father. The man who had haunted every story. Every fragment of my life I didn't remember. He had found us. He's not leaving without you, Mom said. We had no time. Dad activated a series of pre-planned emergency measures. Locks, alarms, hidden exits. The safe house wasn't just walls. It was a fortress. My mind raced. I held the metal case tighter, letters and USB drive inside. My last connection to a past I never knew. The device inside the case still beeped softly, a signal of control, of protection. He can't get you tonight, Dad said, voice determined. But you need to understand. He's relentless. He won't stop searching. Mom's hand gripped mine tightly. We've given you everything to survive, to know the truth. But survival, it's on you now. Hours passed. Tension clawed at the edges of my nerves. Every shadow outside felt alive. Then Dad opened a folder from the case. Photographs, letters, a small notebook. Handwriting I recognized from my birth mother's notes. Instructions, memories, clues. Hidden schools, relocated homes, people assigned to watch over me, safe zones, coded messages embedded in ordinary life. Everything you see here, Dad said, is meant to prepare you, to let you make choices with full knowledge. Not blindly, not as Jordan Hale, but as Jude Waters. A mix of fear, shock, and determination surged inside me. I understood now. The person I thought I was, the name I'd lived with for 18 years, had been a mask. Jude Waters, my real self, was emerging. The weight of that truth was terrifying and liberating. I spent the night poring over documents. Letters, videos, photographs. They told a story of survival, courage, and sacrifice. My parents had risked everything to keep me alive, to let me grow strong enough to face the world my birth father tried to control. By dawn, the story settled inside me. The fear remained, but it was tempered by understanding. I knew who I was, what had been done to protect me, and what I needed to do next. I was no longer a passive child waiting for danger to strike. I was Jude Waters, aware, alert, ready. The faint crunch of footsteps reached us. I froze. Dad placed a hand on my shoulder. Fear is part of the game. Use it. Let it sharpen your senses. The door handle rattled softly, then more forcefully. My biological father. He had found us. But this time I didn't feel powerless. This time I felt ready. Mom whispered urgently, "Stay behind me." But I stepped forward. I couldn't hide anymore. Not from him. Not from myself. The door swung open. He stood there, tall, composed, cold eyes scanning the room. "So," he said, voice low, controlled. "You're Jude Waters. The one my plans never touched. The one I never controlled." I took a step forward, the metal case in my hand. "I'm not who you think I am. I'm not a child to manipulate. I'm not someone to control. I'm me, Jude Waters. And you won't touch me. He smiled, almost amused, then stepped closer. You don't understand. I always knew who you were, even when you didn't. Every step I took, every move I made, was to bring you back to me. I pressed the button on the device inside the case. A sharp beep echoed. He stumbled back slightly, caught off guard. Dad stepped forward, firm. You've had your chance. It's over. My biological father's eyes narrowed. Over. Then his expression shifted. No, it's never over. You've grown, but you're still the same vulnerable child inside. I shook my head. No, I'm not a child. I'm not vulnerable. I'm Jude Waters. And I know the truth now. You can't manipulate me. You can't scare me. You lost your chance the day I escaped you. Mom stepped closer, holding my hand. We've protected you for 18 years. Every move you made, every threat you posed, we countered. And today, you'll see nothing you do will undo that. He paused, a flicker of frustration. Slowly, reluctantly, he straightened. You think you've won? Knowledge is power. But fear never dies. I took a deep breath. Maybe, but courage can overcome fear. I have my family. I have the truth. I have my life. And you have nothing over me anymore. For a long moment, he stared, then turned sharply and left. No struggle, no final threat, just silence. The wind rustled through the trees. He had underestimated one thing: the power of truth, the strength of preparation, and the unbreakable bond of those who loved me. The room exhaled. Mom collapsed into a chair, shaking, smiling through tears. Dad nodded slowly, still vigilant, but a weight lifted. I exhaled. A long breath I hadn't realized I'd held for years. I looked at the metal case, letters, USB drive, photograph. They were more than objects. They were my connection to a past I had almost lost, proof I was whole, identity restored. Jude Waters. That was me. The sun climbed higher, casting light into the safe house. For the first time, I wasn't hiding. I wasn't running. I was free. I had a past, yes, but I had knowledge, family, and myself. That was enough. I was Jude Waters. And I was ready.